Have you ever considered when a developing human entity gains full ethical consideration? It is a question that deeply impacts scientific research, medical practices, and personal beliefs about the value of early human life. There is no single, universally accepted point at which a human embryo acquires moral status in bioethics. Instead, the question sparks a profound debate with diverse viewpoints rooted in different philosophical, religious, and scientific understandings of human development. The concept of moral status refers to whether an entity deserves moral consideration and possesses rights, meaning it can be wronged. Various criteria have been proposed for when this status might begin. Some argue that moral status is immediate upon fertilization, citing the unique human genome created at that moment and the concept of totipotency, where the fertilized egg has the potential to develop into a complete organism. Others suggest that moral status begins with implantation in the uterine wall, seeing this as a critical step in establishing a stable developmental environment. Another significant viewpoint centers around the appearance of the primitive streak, which occurs around 14 days post-fertilization. This structure marks the beginning of embryonic development and is often seen as the point after which twinning is no longer possible, indicating the formation of a single individual. Following this, some ethical frameworks emphasize the development of a functioning nervous system or the capacity for sentience, suggesting that moral status arises with the ability to experience pain or consciousness. This often occurs later in gestation. Furthermore, viability, or the ability of the fetus to survive outside the womb, is another point some consider crucial for the acquisition of moral status. This is a changing point as medical technology advances. Finally, for some, moral status is only conferred at birth, when the individual becomes fully independent and recognized as a person in society and by law. These varying criteria underscore the complexity of the debate, each supported by compelling arguments. Understanding these different perspectives is not about finding one definitive answer but rather about appreciating the depth of the ethical discussion. Recognizing the array of viewpoints helps to inform policy decisions regarding embryonic research, reproductive technologies, and the careful balance between potential benefits of scientific advancement and the protection of nascent human life. Within this complex discourse, you often hear discussions contrasting an immediate moral status view with a gradualist view. The immediate view posits that full moral status exists from conception, while the gradualist perspective suggests moral status accumulates over developmental stages. This also ties into the concept of potentiality, where the embryo is seen as having the potential to become a full human person, sparking debate over whether potentiality alone confers full moral status. Ultimately, the question of when a human embryo acquires moral status remains a cornerstone of bioethical inquiry, with no easy solutions. Navigating this landscape requires careful consideration of scientific facts, philosophical principles, and respect for the deeply held beliefs that shape different understandings of human dignity and the beginnings of life. It is a dialogue that demands both intellectual rigor and profound empathy.